Beverly Engle came into my life when I had just started private practice up in Northwest Arkansas. I had finished 5 long years of residency training and was ready to settle into a nice, quiet life of private practice, and along came Beverly. And her first meeting, for people that know her, probably wouldn't be surprising that she just very soft-spoken and matter-of-fact said, "You ought to come over and visit our Children's Advocacy Center sometime and let me show you around." And so it sounded like a very innocent invitation, but as usual, she, I think, probably felt like that she might want to have me consider helping out at the Children's Advocacy Center, and I did. I started to do medical exams there on a volunteer basis, and that just through learning more about the Children's Advocacy Center model and the multidisciplinary approach, it really became the focus of my medical career, and so totally changed trajectory from a quiet life of private practice to a not very quiet life of being a specialist in child abuse pediatrics.
My first meeting with Beverly was typically enough at a legislative committee meeting. So I remember we were sitting in a committee room, and I had seen Beverly before but didn't really know her, and I thought the interesting part about that was that Beverly in many of those meetings had Natalie, her daughter, with her, and I thought that was so good that you kind of a team process, that Natalie was interested in following her mother and some of the footsteps that she had laid out.
She would have to go to these trips to Little Rock all the time, and so she had asked me several times if I would like to go and tag along with her and just kind of see this perspective. And she would tell you the legislative process was something she actually really loved. And if she could just sit on the footsteps and just lobby for children, she would do it, because that's what she does. She lobbies for children and she advocates for children, and that's her every day. So it was really powerful to get and watch my mom advocate for the rights of children.
The first time I met Beverly, I was 27 years old, so that was quite a while ago, and so I've known her for a long time now. And I was blessed to have her to come into my life. I was a young mother and a young wife, and I really wanted a mentor in my life. And I remember the first time that I saw her, my first thought was, she is so beautiful. And the beauty on the outside reflected the beauty that was on the inside. Now I have my first grandbaby, and I see one of my daughters being a wonderful mother, and I see that how Beverly's mentorship gets handed down from generation to generation.
We were back to Benton County from our time in Washington, D.C., and getting back and getting involved with the community. And Asa was familiar somewhat with the CAC, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's something you'll love that. You'll want to see what they do." And so I went and walked around, and I thought, oh, how precious. And everything in the building was about the children, from the decorations to the placement of the decorations being at the eye level of youngsters, not at the eye level of the adults, and how they had all these different little quiet rooms for the different needs or emotions that the children might be experiencing as they come to visit, and to know that they were helping children who needed them the most.
Her passion was always the same, and she could always be moved to tears, even just thinking about the individual effect that child abuse had on the life of the child and the family that was there. And so to me, whenever I've seen her, her life has always been about understanding how terrible that effect is, and then really trying to work to find a way for the system to work better so that folks would have the chance to have the support to be able to recover and move on from that.
I think tenacity, probably as much as anything. I mean, she's been around probably longer than I have, which is a miracle in itself. But she is always in the fray, very quietly. She's not one that stands up and demonstrates her frustration or anxiety. But I think her tenacity and her willingness to continue on, and all of that being framed by her need to serve children and women in ways that they would not be able to have the advantage of otherwise.
No matter what we look like, no matter what age we are, no matter what our background is or education or anything, she cares about people, and she wants them to be protected and safe and helped. And she is a gentle soul, but she is a strong soul, and she will do whatever she can to help protect the children in the right way, truthful way, and she is all about helping the child.
Beverly is deserving of this award, again, by her love and enlarged heart for the wounded. And she is a big, big advocate for kids, adults, anyone that has been wounded. And to see her persevere year after year, decades, to see her continue to push through, continue to give, and to see the fruit of her labor, the fruit of her sacrifice. Arkansas is blessed to have Beverly.
Beverly's a Joan of Arc without a sword.
If we could take on some of the characteristics that I think are so wonderful about Beverly, we would all do a much better job of, I think, in what it is we do.
The last thing she ever wants is recognition. She just wants to wake up every morning, advocate for the rights of people, protect people, and then she wants to go home to her family and her grandchildren. And, today is done and tomorrow is a new day and we'll get back at it. But she always wanted others to be recognized. She saw the hard work in so many other people, in the legislators, in the detectives, in the DHS workers, the other child protective service workers. She always wanted them to be the one that's recognized because she saw what they did every day and how hard this work was. And the last person she would ever think about was her, including if she needed to eat or sleep that day. But that's where the Percy Malone Award came from, was she wanted a dinner recognizing these people that work so tirelessly for the protection of children. And the fact that we're turning around and honoring her, I just think is just incredible. And to have been able to be part of the audience to tell her that, she just had no words and immediately was incredibly emotional. And if you've ever met my mother, you'll know she's a very emotional person, but she's just evokes passion out of anybody around her. So it was incredibly honoring to witness getting to tell her that, to see that come full circle.
I just always tell her that it's all her fault because I was really ready to have my nice, quiet life of private practice. But in all honesty, it's a privilege of the fact that my life course was redirected due to the fact that Beverly did cross my path and kind of exposed me to what was needed in this field, but then also continued to be a mentor and a friend as I kind of grew into the training and the role that I'm in now.
To be asked to follow her shoes, it really truly is such a huge honor, and she's somebody that I would want to live up to every single day. And I find myself asking all the time, what would Beverly have done in this situation? And people will call me, what do you think your mom would have done in this situation? And it's a fun navigation of trying to make it a Natalie perspective, but with a little bit of Beverly still in it. Because obviously, A, you never want to leave your history, but B, when it was successful, why would you walk away from that?
Beverly Engle is my hero. She mentored me, and for the 4.5 years that I was on the board, she taught me what the CAC was all about, and all the dimensions and all the different ways possible. And with her vision and looking beyond what more could be done, she was never satisfied. There's always something more that we could do. And without her influence on me, I wouldn't know to do this. And that's made a world of difference for me. It's made being the First Lady of Arkansas worth it all. And I feel useful and helpful because she taught me how to do it.